Hello, my name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, we are delighted to have Jimmara Scott with us. Jimmara is a trailblazing no-code AI specialist and certified consultant known for her work in empowering diverse workforces through accessible AI solutions. As the founder of NoCode4Change, she is dedicated to democratizing technology and creating a more inclusive future. In this interview, we'll explore her journey, the impact of her initiatives, and her vision for the future of no-code AI. Thank you for joining us today, Jimmara.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be here. I appreciate you.
Oh, good. Yeah, me too. All right, let's get started. So, your mission with No Code for Change is to democratize AI and make it accessible to everyone. What are some of your biggest challenges you faced in this mission, and how do you overcome them?
But it's to democratize AI and make it accessible to everyone. We focus heavy on underserviced communities.
Mhm.
And on underserviced communities from low income to women's shelters to reentry programs, mental and health centers. So any type of support group. We're trying to make this we are making AI accessible for all programs. But the challenge that we run into, and this is just not in those communities, it's a challenge that we're running into, period, with artificial intelligence, is that people assume that it's complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, it's the idea that, oh, I can't do that. It's too techy. I will never understand it. So we have to break down we have to change that perspective first. So that's our first mission, is to change that perspective. Another thing is, once they do try it, they become overwhelmed with, what am I doing with this? Okay, so I went into a large language model, which is ChatGPT. I'm speaking from a perspective of someone new. I has never used it before. They go into ChatGPT, they're like, oh, this is cool. I answered a question, but okay, that's great. What do I
Yeah.
do with this? I don't know what to do next. So we have to tackle that challenge of confusion and overwhelm. And I would say maybe a third one would be just using it on a daily basis. Showing, I think the idea, okay, we don't have time. And what's our new generation? It used to be just a problem with children. It is now a problem with anybody who has a smartphone. Our attention span is no longer there. So
Yep.
people cannot find time to do anything, especially anything new. So how we plan on tackling those challenges is, first, we want to gamify and teach AI. So what I mean by that is, we went through an era, maybe in the last 10 years, of self-paced. Self-paced this, self-paced that. We are no longer in that era. We can't pay attention to that anymore, where people can just buy a course and learn on their own. So if
Yeah.
I want to actually gamify and actually teach, get back into instructor-led workshops and training, where people are being taught like we were back in the day in schools, instead of you buy $100 course and tell somebody to finish it. The statistics, I don't have the full statistics, but the statistics is very low of how many people actually finish a self-paced course. Secondly, teach them the method. So create a framework where they are using prompt engineering to understand why they're doing this. Job readiness. How do I make a resume in ChatGPT? How do I create a cover letter in ChatGPT? And how do I prepare for interviews in ChatGPT or Claude or any type of large language model? To teach them how to do it so that they're not overwhelmed. And just the time constraints. If Teach them that a lot of ChatGPT is on your phone, and now you can talk into it. And I don't
Right.
think a lot of people know that you can talk into it. So instead of you type in, which takes time, you can actually talk. I just took notes. I'm still old school. I still use notes.
I do too.
Yes, I wrote that. I have to get my thoughts outside my brain, and writing it on Notion or Google, it just doesn't work for me. It's like it never happened. So I write it down.
Mhm.
But now I was able to take a picture of my notes and send it and say, ChatGPT, analyze my notes and tell me what I wrote. So, and that's
Oh,
the way, yeah, that's how, I now can process. And a lot of people are like that, especially people or underserviced communities. They still process through notes or old methods. So
mhm.
it just teaching different ways and time consuming, different ways to knock out the time consuming constraints of,
Yeah.
I don't have time for this, it's overwhelming, and I don't understand it.
I love that because I don't know how many courses I bought and then never done them.
Never. We never finish it. So we're going back to instructor-led teaching.
I
I
think
need to
that's
be taught.
good.
Yes,
Yeah.
people need to be taught.
Yeah, and then they have an opportunity to ask questions right there. And I think that's important because when you're left to your own devices, you could get stuck and then just be like, "Oh, guess I'm not finishing it."
And
Mhm.
people can ask questions because people have different ways of learning. So you may be
Right.
an auditory learner and you can hear me speak, and someone else is a visual, and maybe I put too much visual in my presentation, but not enough auditory. So therefore, the person, the auditory, may need some clarification on what that slide meant. So
Mhm.
instructor led gives an opportunity for everyone to get to learn the way they learn.
I love that. Yeah, that's so good. That's so important.
Thank you.
And this next question's building off of that. Can you share some examples of how No Code for Change has successfully empowered those underrepresented communities through AI upskilling? And what impact have you seen on those communities with that?
My NoCode4Change vision is one of the visions is to get into the women's shelters. We're working and getting to women's shelters. That's one of the ones that touches my heart really bad. My mother
Yeah.
wants to own a women's shelter, and because of her what happened to her sister, so she wants to own a women's shelter. But the cost of actually buying a building and owning a women's shelter is really steep.
Yeah.
So I am currently training her. We're working on trying to get into these women's shelters to train her how she can teach women and still make an impact without actually owning a women's shelter. So the vision with that is, I don't know if you know the statistics with women's shelters. It's
Mm, mm-mm.
when women go to shelters, it typically takes them 7 times to either, it's only two outcomes. They go back and forth to a women's shelter 7 times. One is it leads to them freeing and escaping,
Mhm.
or they die. That's just the two
Oh,
outcomes that happen after 7 times. So
wow.
there's usually two major reasons why they go back home over and over again. One, children. Children
Mm,
are, the spouse may be abusive to the woman, but not the children. And most women want their partner, their children to have a father. Second one, a major one is finances. They can't
mm,
afford to leave. They can't afford to live on their own. They can't afford to leave because they have children. So they keep on coming back. And at this point, they have children. They probably stayed home. They haven't developed any skills to just go out and go back to being a judge at one in their life. So yeah, I was a judge in my past life. I'm just gonna go back. That's typically not what happens. So
right.
No Code for Change's mission is to get them job ready. Show them how they can use ChatGPT, Claude, Bard now Gemini, and Perplexity. These are the 4 top large language models as of right now, open source language models. How
Mm,
can they use these to get job ready? What skills have they had before that they can put into ChatGPT and say, hey, what job can I get now in 2024? How can I shape my resume to present myself in the best light? And we will provide them with prompts engineering, just prompts so that they can make those resumes, get those cover letters out there, have those interview skills. Another course of action that we're taking is also teaching them how to develop no code AI soft applications. So
mm,
inside ChatGPT, you can create GPTs.
mhm.
GPTs are generated pre-trained transformers. You can create those. They're very simple to create. They go complex, but they're really simple to create. I would teach people, it's a low barrier of entry to break into tech. Teach them how to create GPTs and find a need in the market. Not too long ago, I created a GPT to help women escape. So
Mm,
maybe they can't get to the women's shelter. Maybe they're embarrassed. Maybe their husband checks their browsing history, but they don't check their app. I changed the name, so it's very discreet. It's called, I forgot that I just built it yesterday. Safe Haven. It asks them, the first thing they ask them is, are you safe to talk to me?
mm.
And they can go in and it helps them build an escape plan. They ask them, do they have children? Can they talk again? They make sure, are you safe to talk? Can you talk right now? And then they ask them where they're located, and they help them create an escape plan and give them resources in their area based off of the information they provided. So I would love to teach women that skill. How can you build something in ChatGPT? How can you, something that may be a need, maybe something for your child that's lacking math skills, and you can't afford a tutor. So create a GPT for your child, the way they learn. So that is 2 programs that we are working on. We're about to introduce the pilot program into job readiness and also reskilling and upskilling programs so that they can have a new skill going back into the workforce.
I love that. That is so valuable and helpful. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Thank
Great
you.
job. I don't mean to laugh. It's just awesome, I guess. That's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Um, And this is, you've hinted about this a little bit, but can you talk about some of the key educational programs that you've developed and their impact on the students and community members?
Yeah, I'm currently working with the University of Pittsburgh in their STEM middle school program. It's July 17th. It's 5 days a week. So we are creating a program to introduce them to data. Reason we're going with the data route is because everything is data. There will be no artificial intelligence without data, no engineering careers, no mathematics without data. The program is actually called Data Detective. The program is based on I created it so that it is relevant to middle schoolers.
Oh,
It
that's
is a
great.
TikToker whose account has been hacked. So we're also teaching them cybersecurity. This TikTok's account has been hacked, and they have to look through data to find out any anomalies, anything that looks odd. They chat with chatbots. So I've built chatbots so they can ask questions. They really have to dig into the data. They have to learn how to ask questions. They have to learn how to read graphs. We go through the whole data cycle from acquiring the data. How do we get it? How do we get here? How do we get the views? How do we get the likes? How do we get this information? Asking the right questions, interpreting the data, visualizing the data, showing it on graphs, and then actually taking that data and presenting it, actually looking at it and saying, okay, we think this is the suspect right here, but why? Can you explain how you got to this point? And towards the end, if time allows it, I'm gonna teach them how to build a GPT to present their findings. And that is something we're working on right now with the University of Pittsburgh for middle school students in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the goal is to have that as a pilot program as well, and just present it to children in any STEM education organization and get kids excited about that. What we learned is that just from my experience as a child in the underserviced community, if you don't have something that's memorable, students turn away from it. And I think it's people, period. We all had this teacher at one point that taught us a subject we probably may have been interested in, but the teacher was so dry and boring that we just did not want the class. You wanted nothing to do with this. And as you got older, you're like, oh, wait, this is biology? This is
Yeah.
cool. So the goal with NoCode4Change is to make sure that when these children leave the program, they're like, this was so fun and this was so entertaining. And I learned so much that I'm actually interested in a career in data, or I want to know how does she build that chat bot, or that chat bot was easy to build. I want to make more and get them interested because it was a good experience. And that is the whole goal with NoCode4Change and educational system, is to get the children excited about what's up, what's coming.
Yeah. That is so great. And they're learning critical thinking skills, which is very
Yes.
important at that age
Yes,
too.
we
So
just talked about that. I just had a meeting with an associate director, and he talked about how we talked about how children no longer have that memory muscle that we had to exercise,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
they are developing new skills in critical thinking, logic, and function. And these are skills that we didn't have to really process because right now, the memory muscle is not there. We can pull up our phone. I have quite two numbers that I actually remember at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Before, when I was younger, I knew 500 and everyone in
Everybody's.
the school's number, addresses, and
Yeah.
things. They don't have to do that anymore, but they do need to know how to ask the right questions to get the right results.
Yes.
So the functionality and the logic and learning how to say the right things is something we didn't have to do, but they have to learn. If they say this, is it going to give them the correct output? So input and output is something that's a new skill for these children, which they are developing and they're getting really good at. So critical
That's
thinking
awesome.
is great for what children are developing.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's so great. And can you discuss how No Code for Change's AI driven tools and resources have promoted a mentally healthy work environment for your clients?
Yes, I don't notice off tops. I want to say over 60% of employees are unhappy with their jobs. We completely unhappy, and it's because they feel like they're not doing the job they were hired for. They were hired to be, I would say, let's say, marketing specialists. They were hired to be a marketing specialist, but they are filling out paperwork and they're doing a whole bunch of admin tasks that just to get to the job that they're actually good at.
Mm.
So putting in automations and relieving them of those tasks of admin, repetitive, tedious tasks that's not their job, that's not their talent, that's not their passion,
Mhm.
creates a mentally healthy, productive workforce. So it's productive on the employer's end, where they're now getting employees that actually can do their job. They are actually specialized in marketing, they're specialized in sales, they are specialized in customer success, and they can do their job because on the back end, there is no paperwork to fill out. Everything is automated. So that is the goal of what the clients is to, and then now they can build the workforce. So my goal, I never want to eliminate the workforce. It's going to, and this is a fact, we know that's going to happen with the AI shift, that jobs will be replaced, but new ones will be created.
Right.
So I don't want to say, when I say build the workforce, I don't want to be ignorant and say, oh, no, there will be jobs that will completely be eliminated.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. It's a given. Anytime anything changes, it's the same thing with when the typewriter came and now the computer. People who were skilled script writers no longer had a job because the typewriter was there. And now when the typewriter the computers took over the typewriter. So it's the same thing. Now AI is going to take over a lot of tasks that people were doing. And it's just what it is. It's just a part of the future. But we want to make sure that we are we are taking away the tasks that people don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
The admin tasks, the repetitive tasks, we are taking that away, putting that in automation, giving it to AI, and allowing people to build better connections. Actually, we can actually be humans again. That's what I believe AI will give to the workforce. We will be able to be humans again and actually be able to communicate, talk, connect, teach, like the instructor-led teaching. Get on the phone and talk to somebody like a human person towards the end of a sales cycle. Now, maybe not prospecting. Everyone hates cold calls, but maybe even salespeople hate cold calls. Now you can actually say, okay, I got the prospect on the phone and I can build a relationship with this person. And that's how our vision is. And that's what's happening in the workforce right now. We are taking away those tasks. We are automating everything and giving people a peace of mind, employers and employees, and building our workforce on specialized skills. And I'm really excited. I'm hoping everyone actually jumps on board with it.
Yeah, that would be great. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, maybe if AI can take care of all the boring stuff, then we can get back to creating and doing things that we actually enjoy. So,
And that's the goal. Yes, we're trying to get rid of that. Automation is all the boring stuff. It has had the capability of creating, but you only can create with the input. So it can't create unless a human tells it what to create. And I've seen the fear of, oh, we're going to take away the copywriters' jobs and they're going to take away publishers and authors. That's not true. What's going to happen is they're just going to, now it's going to be, oh, we're looking for an AI copywriter. We're going to look for AI marketing specialist. We're looking for an AI salesperson. We're looking for AI anything like that. They're going to just add, the market is going to shift to AI is going to be added to that because the employer now is going to see that AI can get things done 10 times faster. And we already know the ultimate goal with an employer or company is to save on money and get things done faster. So instead of people being resistant to AI, they need to learn how to use it to get things done faster. So if you're a copywriter, learn how to speak to it, create your own prompts. And now you can have 100 clients a month instead of the only 5 that you were working with. And that's the message I'm preaching, is that don't resist it. Don't resist it. Jump in it. And now you can get things done a lot faster and become extremely marketable. And people will know who you are because now you're working with 100 people compared to 5. Yeah. So that's, and get rid of all the boring stuff. We no longer want to do boring things that make us want to quit our jobs.
That's right. You see no-code AI solutions transforming business operations in the next 5 years? And what steps can businesses take now to prepare for that shift?
Funny, I just finished the certification AI strategy and governance from the University of Pennsylvania. And that was one of the things they said, what is the strategy businesses should take now? They said do it give AI internally first. Give it to all the employees first before you start changing operations. First, because there's such resistance with AI. So if you give it to your employees, you can get a valid understanding, not even just employees, CEOs, everyone. Make sure everyone in the company is using AI first. So just give them a pilot program, maybe ChatGPT, and see, let them show them how to use something simple as ChatGPT first. Therefore, you can get an understanding of how your employees are reacting to it. Do they like it? Do they not like it? Are they struggling with it? Because if you do that first, and you understand that the CEO has no idea what they're doing with ChatGPT, or the sales team is struggling with ChatGPT, there is no need to rush into giving them automation. If they can't process the basic large language model, there's no need to rush. That means that you get now you have data to understand that they should probably baby step them into automation and baby step them into a full AI integration, adoption, infrastructure. So the strategy is for businesses to give it to their employees first, let their employees and listen to them. A lot of them are using it secretly.
Yeah.
I heard that a lot of people, there's a lot of companies originally banned it last year. A lot of them, you can still use it on your phone. So a lot of companies a lot of employees are still using it secretly to get their jobs done. And be open to it. See what they have to say. How are they using it? Skill them in it, reskill. You get it to the employees, get it into the hands of the people who will be using it first before you completely transform your whole organizations, your SOPs, your automate. Don't do that yet.
Yeah. That's
and
smart.
That's how, give it to the employees first, get a feel of it. And then they will give you feedback. They'll give you feedback. They will let you know that this is ridiculously hard. And the people that you're hiring now you may need to upskill them first before you add more before you do the transformation, implementation, and infrastructure. So I'm going in that direction is give it to your workforce first. Give it to your workforce first, and then that's a big strategy and that's a big decision. It's easier actually, and it's actually cost effective. Mm-hmm. And there's a big thing on return on investment. So if you give it to your employees first, ChatGPT costs absolutely nothing to use. They have a free version and they have an enterprise version, but it's still pennies compared for a corporation, especially a C-level enterprise corporation. Give it to them first, and therefore your return on investment, you'll be able to have some data first to see how you can actually adopt a full transformation, artificial intelligence transformation.
That's great advice. Yeah, that's super smart. And looking ahead, what are your visions for the future of no-code AI solutions and their role in creating a more inclusive and equitable tech industry? And how do you see NoCode4Change contributing to this vision?
Our vision is to build, we're working on it with someone else. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention his name yet, so I'll just keep to myself.
That's all right.
We're working on a no-code AI specialist program. We believe that it will be so they have a citizen development program right now. It's a career. It's actually a career. It's called citizen development, but it's typically for the large companies, enterprise companies like Microsoft has, Google probably has one, Facebook has one, and they deal with no-code applications. We're going a step lower in creating no-code AI specialist program. The specialist program is learning how to create prompt engineering for no-code applications, small applications where you can create minimal valuable products quickly. Say the company has an idea of how automation will look for customer success. No-code AI specialist can build that really quickly in maybe a software like make.com and show them this is how it will look, this is how it will operate before they spend thousands of dollars into training. So that will be the position that a no-code AI specialist will do, where there's a problem. And instead of deploying a full transformation or actually using artificial intelligence on the elite level with machine learning, we're taking it back to a smaller, low-cost no-code AI and letting our no-code AI specialists solve that problem for you first, test it, deploy it, which could take 30 days. And then from there, if you love the solution, then you can look into maybe getting to artificial intelligence and machine learning, which takes thousands of dollars and almost a year of production. But we are working right now on that no-code AI specialist, so that knows all the tools of AI, knows the department's business cycle, which is content, marketing, sales, customer success, and operations. We're teaching all those and how AI, no-code plays a part in the whole business cycle. And they will also be trained on automations. So we believe that will be the next big career title is no-code AI specialist, and which will require no degree. It wouldn't require no degree. It would require education and knowing what you have to do. And we are working heavy on that, hopefully getting released by the end of the summer. If not, it will be something we'll do in the fall. But we are working. It is definitely a shift that's coming. Microsoft has already said about over 50% of applications that will be built will be no-code applications going forward. So we are getting people ready for that career path. And that's where we see the future.
That's amazing. Yeah, that would be so helpful, I imagine, because save money on college and everything.
Yeah. And we're also working on a platform, to help entrepreneurs and small business owners, where the platform will only have It's an all-in-one platform where it has the same thing, content with 5 tools. So you're not overwhelmed. You're going to have 5 tools that can run your entire business. And you'll also get a virtual assistant that will help you, a trained virtual assistant that knows how to use the tools. So we're working on that program as well. It should be released this summer to help small businesses with the overwhelm. And it's a lot. It's too much. I'm an AI consultant, and every day I'm like, oh my God, here's another update. Here's another update. Here's another update. So I can imagine someone who really doesn't even care about it, who knows they need it, how frustrating it is for them to try to keep up and how much money they're spending on this new tool and this new tool. So we're trying to solve that problem for businesses, entrepreneurs, just individuals, period. And that's our mission with NoCode4Change, is to bring it down and make it accessible, affordable, and to make sure there's a return on investment if you put your time and energy into this.
I love that. That's so important. Yeah, that's great. Before we conclude, I'd like to switch gears a little bit and to a couple of lighter questions and get to know you better. So when you do step away from your work, what are some activities or hobbies that you're passionate about?
I just said that not too long ago. I feel like I'm always learning, and I don't know if that's a hobby. I feel like I'm a nerd.
I am too.
I'm like, what do I do in my free time? I learn. I love movies. I love movies. I love series. I just finished Your Honor on Netflix.
Nice.
Yes, it's such a good. I love those suspense thriller, twist and turn movies. I am a big fan of those. So my free time, I'm definitely 100% watching a movie, going to the movies, or finding me a series to watch. What else do I like to do? That's still nerdy. It's very nerdy. I will find me a tutorial and try to, that's nerdy. That's still work related, but I like building stuff. So I'm like, let me try augmented reality, and let me just see if I can build this real quick. So yeah, I just build a no code AR, augmented reality business card. Yeah, I was just like, I wonder if I can do it. So it's nerdy, but in my free time, and let's go back to the fun stuff. Yeah, movies.
Yeah. That's okay. I still say that I'm a band nerd, band geek or whatever, because I still love marching band songs. I still play my flute. I still do things like that. I'm like, yeah, that one time at band camp. Yep.
The one time at band camp. That's funny. Yeah, I'm a movie girl, so I'll just watch a movie.
Yep, that's nice. I like something that will turn my brain off, actually, when I'm in my free time.
Yes, and that a good killer show or thriller, that will do it. A crazy movie for me, and we're like, I'm so into it that I'm like, listen, I gotta finish this. But it's horrible because then I binge it, and now I'm up till 5 in the morning knowing I have to get up at 7 to get her to count. Yeah, I can't turn my brain off. Yeah.
Yep. That's funny. As an entrepreneur and AI consultant, what advice would you give to startups and small businesses looking to adopt no-code AI solutions to innovate and scale their operations?
I would say start with ChatGPT. I would say 100% start with ChatGPT. Ask it any questions. You can ask it that question. I would tell any entrepreneur to go in there and say, hey, this is my business. How can I improve it? And it will give you some ideas. This is my business, but I'm making this amount of money. How can I act and use prompt engineering? Act like an expert copywriter that has 25 years of experience. Please write me 5 Facebook ads to this target audience. Use ChatGPT because you can get a lot of your business done faster inside of ChatGPT. And not just ChatGPT, there is other ones if you don't like it. I'm a fan of Jimmara as well, which is Google's. I like Claude. They just released a newer, faster version. I like Perplexity when it comes to research, but if you want one, get into ChatGPT and ask it about talk to it as if I tell everyone to talk to it as if it's your assistant. You hire this assistant and they are amazing. They are college grad. They are good at what they do. They are just looking for an opportunity. They're building their business on the side. So they understand your business. They understand their business. Ask it questions. Take an old post that you had, copy it, put it in ChatGPT and say, analyze this post. Who do you think the target audience is for this post? What do you think I'm selling? What is the tone? And then when it gets you an answer, was this what you were going for when you wrote this post? And then, no, if it wasn't, then can you improve it for me? My target audience is this. So go into ChatGPT and just talk to it like it is your best friend, as if you need help. And if you do that, you will get a lot of information about your tone, who you are, what's your target audience. And I always tell people, maybe don't even do prompt engineering at first. Just go in blind and just talk so that you can get just to see what's happening. What do you think? You thought your post was great. And then ChatGPT thinks that it's for a 50-year-old man that lives in Arizona. You're like, oh, no, that's nowhere close to my target audience. So,
Mm-mm. Yeah,
yeah,
it's very helpful like that. I've given my chat GPT a persona a little bit, and
yes,
so I
yeah,
refer to him as him, and
yes.
and I always in the morning before I write my articles, I'm like, "Morning, chat GPT. I hope you're doing well. Are you ready to get started?"
And it's like, yes, I am.
Like
And
yes, let me know what you got on plan or something. It's like, man, it's just so cool. It's like having another pair of eyes or another set of hands that you can just get your work done faster. And more importantly for me is the brainstorming of ideas
yes,
and coming up with topics and how to can I make this better? And yeah.
it's a
And
head
I've
start.
used yeah, and I've used Claude and Perplexity. I haven't used Gemini yet, but Perplexity is good for if you have specific questions or like you said, research.
Yes.
I like Perplexity for that. Claude is I feel like it's a little bit more closer to Chat GPT in terms of
Mhm.
how it works, but I like the friendliness of it. I don't know why. I just
And Claude,
yeah, Claude, but
I thought Claude was really friendly, and I thought I was crazy. And I'm
yeah,
like, there's something about their output is very
it is.
delightful.
It is. I was like,
Yeah,
"Wow, you're giving ChatGPT a run for your money there."
yes. Okay. I thought it was crazy. I'm like, am I overthinking this? But no, no, it's
Nope.
okay. I'm glad you said it too. Because yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
you want me to write anything else for you. Here's some examples. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
oh, thank you.
Um,
Yes, can you do that for me?
yeah, exactly. It
Yeah,
was so
I think Claude
helpful.
is very friendly, but I'm
Mhm.
still OG ChatGPT.
I know.
I
Me
don't think I
too.
can ever leave his side.
No, me either. I'm like, I'm in it for the long haul, ChatGPT. Although I did use Claude the other day when ChatGPT was down.
Yeah, you have to jump over. And so I use my go-to is Gemini. I like
Oh, yeah.
Gemini. I think I like because I can export so easily to Google Doc. And I'm like, oh, let's export over to my Google Doc. So it just depends on what I'm working on. If I'm
Yeah.
working on something that's research, really research based, I'll go over to Gemini. But if I'm
Yeah.
just more copy, because ChatGPT knows who I am at this point. I say act like
Yeah.
Jimmara and answer this, and they're like, okay, I'm sure.
I love ChatGPT's memory function on the
Yes,
paid plan. Oh, it is so helpful. I'm like, do you remember my realtor client? Write me a post for her, and talk to me.
exactly.
I'm like, dang, oh,
So yeah,
that's
we're
nice.
gonna say that is the advice. Go to ChatGPT, play with it, and if you want to
Yeah,
get if you want to get really good, learn prompt engineering. You don't have to go. I took prompt engineering classes; they go so deep. You don't have to go that deep.
yeah,
If you take a basic one and just learn the 5 steps, and just if you really just want a great output, but I get good outputs by just asking general questions. Saying,
me
hey,
too. Yep.
can you do this? Cool. But
And
after it learns who
I'm
you are, it's very helpful.
yes. And I always say please and thank you, but I noticed it does a lot better for me when I'm very polite to it as well.
Ah! I say when I'm really excited. Like, thank you so much. This is great. This is
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank you, Jamara, for joining us and sharing your inspiring insights and vision for a more inclusive and empowered tech future. It has been a real pleasure learning about your innovative approaches to democratizing AI through no code solutions and your journey as a leader in empowering diverse communities. For more information about Jamara and No Code for Change, you can visit their website, nocode4change.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow, today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.